The auction and the awakening. Jace Thorne stood at the edge of the dusty auction lot, his boots sinking slightly into the cracked ground. The twin suns above burned bright, but his eyes were locked on something far more interesting. A rusted, old spaceship sitting alone in the corner. It looked like trash. Covered in sand, its hull was scorched and one of the wings was half torn off. Most buyers ignored it, but Jace couldn't stop looking. "Model's old," someone said behind him. "Dead ship. No power, no nav core, not even worth stripping." Jace didn't answer. He saw something in the ship, something quiet, something forgotten. And Jace knew what it felt like to be forgotten. He was a repairman. Not a warrior, not a trader, not rich. Just a man with calloused hands and a broken past. The galaxy didn't need men like him. But ships didn't judge. The auctioneer shouted, "Lot 72. Derelict cruiser, unclaimed salvage, no registered owner. Starting bid, 100 credits. Laughter rippled through the crowd. No one raised a hand. But Jace did. 100 credits, he said quietly. People stared. "Sold," the auctioneer barked, "to the crazy mechanic with more hope than sense." The crowd laughed again, but Jace ignored them. He walked up to the ship slowly, like it might breathe. Up close, it felt different. The metal wasn't just cold, it hummed, not with power, with something else. Jace touched the side of the hull. Dust crumbled under his fingers. A low click echoed beneath the surface. A hatch hissed. The door opened by itself. His heart skipped. Inside it was dark. Not dead, just sleeping. Jace stepped in. The air was stale, heavy. Emergency lights glowed dim red along the floor. He moved carefully, checking systems as he passed broken panels and sealed doors. The ship's design was strange, not human. Curved walls, soft lighting, and symbols that didn't match any language he knew. He stopped at a door near the back. It looked newer, untouched. He pressed his palm against the panel. Nothing. He tried again. A spark jumped. The door hissed open. Inside was a chamber. Quiet. Cold. In the center floated a clear pod, sealed shut. Inside the pod was a woman. Not human. She had soft violet skin, silver hair like strands of light, and her arms were crossed over her chest. Her body was slim, wrapped in a torn silver suit. Her eyes were closed, but her face was peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Jace stepped closer. A soft whisper filled the air. "Who are you?" His breath caught in his throat. "Hello?" he said. "Can you hear me?" No answer. The whisper faded, but the pod's lights blinked once, then twice. Suddenly, the ship systems groaned to life. Lights flickered, engines coughed, and screens lit up across the hallway. The ship was waking. Jace backed away, but the pod clicked open. Mist spilled out. The woman's eyes snapped open. They glowed, bright, silver, and sharp. She sat up, gasping. Jace raised his hands. "I'm not here to hurt you." Her gaze locked onto him like a weapon. "Where am I?" she whispered. "You were in stasis," he said. "I found this ship at auction. I bought it." She blinked. "Bought?" "Yes. You were part of it." Her expression changed. Confusion, then fear, then something else. Anger. "You bought this vessel," she said slowly, her voice deeper now. "Then you've claimed me." Jace shook his head. "No, I didn't know you were here." The woman stepped out of the pod. She was taller than him, graceful and tense. Her feet touched the floor like a predator ready to leap. "Do you serve the Empire?" she asked. "What Empire?" Her eyes narrowed. "Then why are you here?" Jace didn't know how to answer. The ship around them groaned again, and a voice, female, soft and electronic, echoed through the chamber. "Biometric match complete." Bond protocol initiated. Bond protocol? Jace said. The alien woman stared at him in shock. That should not be possible. What does it mean? He asked. She stepped closer. It means this ship has chosen you, and so have I. She's not human. The alien woman stepped closer to Jace, her bare feet silent on the smooth floor of the ship. The lights overhead still flickered, casting moving shadows across her glowing silver eyes. Jace felt like he was staring at something, not just alive, but dangerous. She didn't blink. What are you? He asked softly. Her head tilted slightly. I am called Araka. Araka, he repeated. She nodded once. Last daughter of the Visari bloodline, defender of the Starvoid Pact, first blade of the High Throne. Jace swallowed. Okay, none of that means anything to me. Araka stepped closer again, her voice calm but cold. You activated the bond. The ship recognized you. That means you are compatible. Compatible with what? Jace asked. Her silver gaze pinned him in place. Me. The air between them thickened. Not with heat, not with tension, but with something Jace didn't have a word for, like the air itself was listening. Watching. Araka turned away and walked toward the hallway. Her movements were smooth, warrior-like. Jace followed carefully, unsure if she might attack or vanish. This ship, she said, brushing her hand across a glowing wall panel, is ancient Visari design. Only blood-bound vessels still carry this type of memory core. You were trapped here? Jace asked. Araka didn't answer for a moment. Then she stopped and said, I was not trapped. I was hidden, in stasis, sealed during the final purge of my people. She looked back at him. My kind were hunted, Jace Thorne. We were nearly erased. His eyes widened. How do you know my name? The ship scanned you. When you stepped aboard, it reached into your data. It showed me pieces. What kind of pieces? Jace asked carefully. Araka's face softened for the first time. Your loneliness, your kindness, your grief. Jace's mouth opened slightly, but no words came. She stepped closer again. You lost someone. Jace looked away. Yeah. Silence. Araka placed a hand on his chest. He flinched but didn't move. Her palm was warm. Strange symbols glowed briefly beneath her skin. Your heart beats like ours, she whispered. But you carry sorrow like a Visari. Before he could reply, alarms suddenly echoed through the ship. Incoming scan detected. The ship's voice said. External tracking beacon activated. Araka's eyes widened. No, they found us. Who? Jace asked, his voice rising. Araka ran to the front console and placed her hand on it. Strange symbols glowed under her fingers. Pirates? Jace guessed. Worse, she whispered. Empire Reapers. They track old Visari signals. They'll think you stole me. You said they killed your people. They'll try to finish the job. Jace felt his pulse racing. Can we run? The ship isn't fully online, she said. We need more time. Then let's get you that time. She looked at him with sharp surprise. You would fight with me? You're the only thing I've got left that makes sense, he said. I'm not running away, not again. Araka blinked. Her hand touched the panel again. Then I will unlock the ship's memory core. You must know what you've walked into. A soft hum filled the chamber. The walls shifted. A section of the ship opened, revealing a glowing orb, hovering in a nest of crystal strands. The orb pulsed with light. Araka gestured. Touch it. It will show you everything. Jace stepped forward, hesitated, then placed his palm on the orb. In an instant, light exploded behind his eyes. Not pain, but memory. Images filled his mind. A planet burning. A silver-haired woman standing before a black throne. A child screaming as ships fell from the sky. And then, silence. Araka's voice echoed inside his mind. I was meant to protect them all, but they made me a weapon. I escaped. But the price was everything. Jace gasped and fell to one knee. Araka knelt beside him. You saw, she whispered. You felt. They didn't just kill your people, he said. They erased them. Araka's voice trembled. And now they'll do the same to you unless we stop them. Suddenly the ship's screen lit up. Hostile vessel approaching. Weapons hot. Araka stood. Jace stood beside her. If they come, he said, they'll have to go through both of us. Araka stared at him. Her eyes softened again, this time with something deeper than surprise. Then you are no longer just a buyer, she said. You are my bond. Outside, the enemy ship appeared like a shadow cutting through the stars. And inside, a human and an alien warrior stood shoulder to shoulder. The memory core, the enemy ship, hovered just outside the derelict vessel, silent and massive like a predator waiting to strike. From the main view screen, Jace could see its dark metal hull, covered in sharp ridges and glowing red lights. It didn't need to announce its weapons, they were already hot. Araka stood still, staring at it with a cold, quiet rage. They're scanning us, she whispered. They're trying to find out if I'm still alive. Jace swallowed hard. If they do? Araka looked at him. They will destroy us quickly. Jace turned to the controls. Can we jump? Hide? Cloak? Not yet, Araka said. This ship is still healing, and you have not yet unlocked the full core. Core? Jace asked. You mean that glowing thing I touched? Araka nodded. The memory core holds the true power of a Visari ship, but it only responds to bonded minds. Your first contact opened it. Now, you must finish it. Jace stared at her. Finish it how? Araka turned and led him down a long hallway. As they walked, the ship lit up slowly around them, recognizing his steps, humming beneath his boots. It was like it remembered him, even though it had never met him before. They stopped in front of a sealed door with no handle. Araka gestured. Place your hand here. Jace did as she said. The door opened with a low hiss, revealing a circular chamber filled with soft blue light. In the center floated a crystal dome, cracked but pulsing with soft energy. The air inside smelled of ozone and something old like forgotten dreams. This, Araka said quietly, is the core's heart. You must relive the memory of the ship, walk inside it, and survive what it shows you. Survive? Jace frowned. What happens if I fail? Araka's voice dropped. You will not return. Jace looked at the dome. It pulsed once, as if hearing him. You're serious, he muttered. Araka stepped forward and placed her hand on his chest. You are not a warrior, Jace, but the ship chose you, and I trust its choice. Now go. With a deep breath, Jace stepped into the dome. Instantly, everything vanished. He wasn't in the ship anymore. He stood on a battlefield. Burning skies, a shattered world. Alien ships screamed across the heavens, firing on cities below. Silver towers crumbled. Visari warriors tall and elegant fought with glowing blades, and among them Araka, younger, fearless, covered in blood. She turned and saw him. But this wasn't real. This was the memory. Watch. Her voice echoed through the air. See what was lost. He watched as she led a final charge. Her people were outnumbered. One by one, they fell. Children, elders, warriors. They fought like fire, but the enemy was endless. Araka reached a grand hall where a crystal throne stood. On it her mother, queen of the Vesari, waited, wounded. You must escape, the queen said. No, Araka replied. We stay together. You are the last, the queen whispered. You must carry the memory. Then the queen placed her hand on Araka's chest, and the throne shattered into pure light. Araka screamed. The vision ended. Jace fell to his knees inside the dome. His chest burned. His mind felt heavy, like a storm had passed through it. The Core pulsed once more and then quieted. The door behind him opened. Araka waited. He stepped out slowly, his face pale. Araka looked at him. You saw it. He nodded. Everything. Then you are ready. Ready for what? Araka stepped aside and touched the wall. Suddenly parts of the ship came alive. Systems that had been dark for years lit up. Engines roared, shields flickered, weapons charged. The Vasari ship had returned to full power, and Jace could feel it inside him. It listens to me, he whispered. Araka smiled slightly. Because it remembers. Before he could ask more, the ship's voice rang out. Enemy vessel locking target, countdown to impact, 20 seconds. Jace ran to the bridge. He looked at the strange alien controls, but somehow they made sense now. Divert power to shields, he said. Araka looked at him with surprise. Done, she said. Charge forward cannon. I want a shot across their bow. Nothing lethal, just loud. Araka moved fast. Cannon ready. Then fire, Jace said. Outside, a beam of blue light shot from the Vasari ship, slicing past the enemy vessel's nose. The other ship shuddered, pulling. Back, they're stunned, Araka said. Send a warning, Jace said. Tell them this ship is under protection of House Vasari. Araka grinned. You are learning fast. I don't plan on dying today, he said. But deep inside, Jace felt something else. He wasn't just protecting a ship. He was protecting her. The pursuit begins. The pirate ship drifted back, smoke trailing from its damaged nose where Jace's warning shot had struck. The stars shimmered behind it, silent witnesses to the standoff. Inside the Vasari vessel, Jace stood at the bridge, his breathing steady but his heart pounding. Araka stood beside him. Her silver eyes flicked across the screen, watching every movement of the enemy craft. They're regrouping, she said, but they're afraid now. They should be, Jace replied. This ship might be old, but it's angry. Araka gave him a sharp glance, half amused. She remembers war. The ship's voice echoed softly in the chamber. Tracking. Signal still active, reinforcements likely. Jace turned to her. That shot didn't scare them off, it just bought us time. Araka nodded. We must move. Can the ship fly? Araka walked to the glowing core and touched it, her fingers lit with faint symbols. She can fly. Not far, not yet. But we can reach a safe point, if we're fast. Where? Jace asked. Araka turned slowly. The ice ring of Delza 7. There's a hidden Vasari outpost long abandoned, but it may still hold fuel. Weapons. And answers. How far? Less than an hour if we push the engines. But they will follow. Jace looked at the screen again. The pirate ship was turning, its weapons glowing. Then we don't wait, he said. Let's burn the sky. Araka smiled faintly. As you command, Bond. The Vasari ship roared to life, engines flaring blue. It leapt forward, cutting through space like a blade. Behind it, the pirate vessel turned in pursuit, sending a coded alert into the stars. Araka stood beside Jace at the command seat, feeding him data through the ship's system. Strange alien shapes glowed on the panels, but Jace could read them. Now the memory core had done something to him, expanded his mind, connected him to something older. They're gaining, Araka warned. Then let's give them a gift, Jace said, flipping a switch. A small bay on the ship's underbelly opened. You have minds? He asked. Araka nodded. Vasari ghosts. Silent, heat-seeking. Drop them. The ship scattered. Glowing spheres into the void. Seconds later, an explosion flashed behind them, one of the mines catching the pirate ship's engine. They're crippled, Araka said. But not stopped. They don't care about the ship, Jace said. They want you. Araka's face darkened. They want to erase what I know, what I carry. What do you carry? Jace asked. She hesitated, then said quietly, the last map to the Vasari vault. What's in the vault? Araka met his gaze. A weapon, not of war but of memory. It holds the minds of my people, their stories, their truths. If the Empire finds it, they will destroy it, and my race will be forgotten forever. Jace stared at her, realizing something deeper. That's why they fear you, he said. Araka nodded. Because I remember. The ship's warning system blared again. 2 new vessels approaching. Trajectory, hostile. Intercept in 5 minutes. Araka's fists clenched. They sent hunters. We need cover, Jace said. Araka's eyes lit up. The ice ring. We're close. Delta 7 loomed ahead, an icy blue gas giant surrounded by sparkling frozen debris. Massive shards of crystal and ancient rock floated in slow, silent orbit. Take us into the ring, Jace ordered. Araka hesitated. It's unstable. Sharp. Full of dead ships and wrecks. Perfect hiding spot, he said. The Vezari ship dove into the frozen field. Massive ice chunks scraped along the hull. The ship's shields flared. Behind them, 2 sleek hunter vessels followed. Faster, newer, armed to the teeth. Araka grabbed the control crystal. They're locking missiles. Give me manual, Jace said, gripping the helm. Araka's eyes widened. You'll crash us, or save us. He swerved the ship hard, spinning between sharp edges of frozen rock. One of the hunters followed, and clipped a jagged shard. It exploded in a ball of fire. The second one pulled back, cautious. Araka grinned. Now they learn fear. But then the ship jolted. We're hit, Jace shouted. They tagged our rear thruster, Araka said. The Vezari ship limped forward, trailing smoke. The ice ring lit up as their crash trail cut through its shadows. Araka turned to him. If we stop here, they'll corner us. Then we don't stop, Jace said. He guided the ship toward a massive frozen structure half buried in ice. It looked like a dead space station, tilted and broken. Araka's face went pale. That's the outpost. It still exists. Can we dock? Araka checked the controls. Barely. The ship screeched against the ice as it slid into a narrow tunnel. Inside, darkness, cold, stillness. They had landed. Barely. Jace leaned back, breathing hard. You said this place holds answers? Araka stared at the darkness ahead. No, she whispered. It holds ghosts. Her bond, his blood. The Vezari ship sat hidden deep within the frozen shadows of the ancient outpost. Sharp ice clung to its hull like claws, and the silence outside pressed in heavy and cold. Inside the dark hangar, steam hissed from broken pipes, and the lights flickered weakly. The place was barely alive. Araka moved slowly through the corridor, scanning for energy signatures. Her hand trembled slightly, her skin pale. Jace noticed. You're hurt, he said. She shook her head. Not badly, but that wasn't true. Her steps were uneven. She winced when she turned too fast, and a dark stain spread across the side of her suit. Jace stepped in front of her, blocking her path. You saved me from that missile, he said. You took the hit. Araka's silver eyes flickered. You're bonded. Your death is my death. But you'll die before I do at this rate, Jace replied. He reached out, but she pulled back, not in fear. In shame. This place holds what I need, she said. Vezari stasis gel. If I find it, I can heal. And if you don't? Araka didn't answer. They entered the inner hall of the outpost. It was massive and curved like a cathedral of ice. Shattered windows looked out over the frozen rings of Delta 7. Broken machines, shattered drones, and ancient bones littered the floor. Araka walked to a control panel and placed her hand on it. Nothing happened. Too cold, she said. Power core must be frozen. Can we fix it? Jace asked. Araka leaned heavily on the console. Not fast enough. Her legs gave out. She collapsed. Jace caught her before she hit the floor. Araka! He shouted. Her breath was shallow. Her skin had lost its glow. Your body's shutting down, he said. You need something. Araka opened her eyes slowly. Vezari blood carries energy, memory, strength, but my kind. We do not regenerate. Not without a bond. Jace frowned. But we are bonded. Yes, she whispered. But not fully. Then what does that mean? Araka's fingers touched his chest weakly. Your blood. Your warmth. It could sustain me. If you choose. Jace stared at her. You want my blood? Araka didn't reply. She didn't need to. Jace took a breath, then nodded. Tell me what to do. Inside the Visari ship, Araka lay on a table near the core. She looked fragile now, like a dying star. Dimming. Jace sat beside her with a small alien needle in his hand. The ship had translated the process for him. It would take only a few drops, but the bond would deepen. Will this hurt you? He asked. Araka shook her head. Not me. Me? It might change you, she said softly. Visari bonds are not only physical, they touch the soul. Jace gave a half smile. My soul's been cracked for years. Maybe it needs some color. He pressed the needle into his arm. His blood glowed red in the tube, then shifted. Silver sparks danced through it. Araka's eyes widened. Your blood, it's reacting. That normal? Jace asked. Araka's voice shook. No, it means your body accepts Visari essence completely. Is that good? Araka looked at him, awe in her eyes. It's unheard of. He fed the blood into the healing device. Soft lights wrapped around her chest and shoulders. Her body arched, pain at first, then a gasp. Color returned to her skin. Her breathing steadied. Her voice came strong and clear. You saved me. Jace wiped sweat from his brow. Not the first time. Won't be the last. She stood, slowly, her strength returning. Her hand reached out, and this time she touched his face gently. We are more than bondmates now, she said. We are becoming one. Before Jace could answer, the ship screamed. External breach detected. Araka turned sharply. They found us. Back in the icy hangar, black-armored soldiers poured in. Empire hunters, tall and silent, carrying plasma spears. Araka and Jace moved fast. She grabbed a Visari blade from the wall, a weapon that shimmered, like living metal. Stay close, she said. I've got a gun, Jace muttered. They have armor that can eat bullets, she replied. Great, he said. Then I'll aim for their pride. Araka grinned, then vanished into the dark, her blade singing. Jace followed, ducking behind a pillar, firing at anything that moved. Explosions rocked the outpost. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Araka moved like light itself, cutting, dodging, shielding him. But then, one of the soldiers caught Jace off guard, slammed him against the wall. His weapon fell. The hunter raised a spear. Araka screamed and, in a blur, took the hit. The spear drove into her shoulder. She didn't fall. Instead, she roared, and the light around her exploded. Every hunter in the room froze, as if the ship itself had awakened through her. Araka's voice shook the walls. He is mine, and I am not done yet. Her people's secret, the blast of light, faded slowly, but its power lingered in the air like thunder that refused to die. The Empire hunters froze where they stood. Their armor crackled, systems overloaded by a wave of Visari energy they didn't expect. Araka stood tall in the center of the storm, the spear still lodged in her shoulder. Her body glowed with silver light. Her eyes burned with something deeper than anger, something ancient. Jace lay on the floor nearby, staring up at her, stunned. Araka, what did you just do? He asked. Araka reached up, gripped the spear, and yanked it out with a gasp. Her blood, silver and alive, sizzled as it hit the cold ground. I called the ship's memory to me, she said. I used the core. I awakened, the part of me that still remembers what it is to be Visari. Jace sat up. They didn't expect that. Araka's voice dropped. They thought I was weak, forgotten. But they forgot the Visari never fade. We just sleep. She walked to him and helped him stand. Around them, the stunned soldiers began to stir, trying to reboot their systems. Araka turned to Jace. "We don't have much time. Follow me." They ran deeper into the old outpost, down twisting halls of ice and metal. Finally, they reached a sealed chamber. Its door was marked by glowing Visari runes, shifting symbols that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. "What is this place?" Jace asked, catching his breath. Araka placed her hand on the panel. The door opened with a whisper. Inside, the room was warm, strange, given the frozen world outside. At its center stood a column of floating crystal and light. Images flickered within it. Faces, planets, stars. Voices whispered in the air. Not words, but emotions. "This is the memory vault," Araka said quietly. "A backup core from my people's great archive. Before the final war, my mother sent me here, told me to protect it. To protect us." Jace walked slowly to the crystal. "This holds the memories of your people," Araka nodded. "Not just memories, truth, our culture, our language, our science. The Empire tried to erase us, but they never found this." Jace touched the edge of the crystal. It pulsed. Araka stepped close beside him. "This is what I carry in my blood, Jace, a key. Only a bonded one can unlock it. And now you have me." Araka turned to him, her voice soft. "That's why the ship chose you. Why I felt the bond the moment I woke. The Visari legacy was waiting for someone like you." Jace shook his head. "I'm just a mechanic." Araka placed her hand over his heart. "You're more than that now." A deep rumble shook the walls. An explosion rocked the floor. The hunters were back. Araka turned to the vault. "We must download what we can. If they destroy this, our last chance dies with it." Jace looked around. "There's no way out after this, is there?" Araka looked at him, silent. And he understood. "Then we fight," he said. Araka gave a slight smile. Sad. Proud. "You were never meant for this war," she whispered. "But maybe the war was meant for me." Araka activated the vault. Light rushed into her body, into Jace's. Images flooded their minds. A child Visari learning to fly, an old queen giving her last words, a scientist discovering how to shape metal with sound, a dancer twirling under 3 moons, a soldier saying, "Goodbye." So much life. So much lost. And now, so much to protect. The download finished. Araka gasped. Jace staggered, falling to one knee, but his eyes burned bright with silver light. Araka pulled him up. "You've accepted the legacy," she said. "No human has ever done that." "Guess I'm not just a mechanic anymore," Jace whispered. Outside, the enemy stormed the hall. Araka turned, blade drawn. Jace picked up a fallen plasma weapon. "We hold the line," she said. "We hold the future," Jace replied. Hours passed. The battle raged, one by one. The hunters fell, but so did time. Araka leaned on her blade, her strength fading again. Jace supported her. "We can't win here. Not forever." Araka nodded. "There is one way." She looked at him with pain in her eyes. The ship was never meant to be sold. It was hidden. A trap meant to awaken a bondmate when the vault was ready. Jace frowned. "So the auction was a lie," Araka said. "You were meant to find it. Fate or design." "And now?" Jace asked. Araka's voice broke. "Now, we must leave this place. And you must do what my people never could." "What's that?" Araka stepped close and whispered. "You must become Visari." The choice that changed the galaxy. Jace stood in silence, the words still ringing in his ears. "You must become Visari." The chamber flickered with dim light. The vault was quiet now, its data downloaded into their bodies, into their bond. And above them the outpost groaned, weakening under the pressure of the enemy ships waiting outside. Araka looked weaker by the second. The power she had drawn from the memory vault had kept her standing, but her body was burning through it too fast. Jace stepped forward. Tell me what that means. How do I become Visari? Araka turned to him, her eyes soft. Visari is not blood, not species. It is choice. Sacrifice, memory. To carry our legacy is to carry us, our hopes, our sorrow, our truth. I've already bonded with you. I've accepted your blood. Araka nodded. But now, you must give something in return. Jace hesitated. My life. Your past, she whispered. He looked at her in confusion. Araka placed her hands on his face. Your identity. Your place in the human world. To truly awaken the Visari ship, to let it rise into its final form, you must let go of who you were. The lights in the chamber grew dim. The ship's voice rang out weakly. System core ready, awaiting full bond merge. Final key required. Araka looked at him with tears in her eyes. You will survive. But Jace Thorn may not. Jace closed his eyes, then opened them slowly. I was already lost when I found you, he said. But with you, I feel like I matter again. I'll give you everything. Araka gasped, her voice trembling. Then the ship will rise. Outside, the enemy's command ship locked onto the outpost. Energy beams glowed hot across its surface. Inside, Jace stepped into the center of the chamber. Visari runes spun around him. The ship began to hum. His body lit with silver veins of light. His heart pounded, not in pain, but in awakening. Araka stepped forward and pressed her forehead against his. We will always remember you, she whispered. No, Jace said, smiling faintly. You'll still have me. The chamber exploded with light. The outpost shook, and above the planet, the stars shifted. The Visari ship didn't fly out of the hangar. It ascended, reborn, its hull reshaped by energy, its weapons glowing with light from the core of 1,000 forgotten souls. Its engines screamed with power. Inside, Araka stood in the control room, barely breathing. A figure stepped beside her, taller now, stronger. Jace. But not exactly. His skin shimmered faintly. His voice carried a second echo behind it, like countless voices speaking through him. I remember them all, he said. Their names, their stories, their dreams. Araka stared. You carry them. And now, Jace said, I fight for them. Above Delta 7, the Empire fleet waited. But when the Visari ship rose from the ice, the enemy hesitated. Too late. A single blast from the reborn vessel split the lead ship in half. Araka moved with precision, guiding the ship's fire. Jace, now bonded to its memory, commanded systems faster than any AI. In minutes, the battle turned. The enemy fled, not just because of firepower, but because of fear. The Visari had returned, and they had chosen a human to lead them. Weeks later, the galaxy began to whisper. Stories spread of an abandoned ship bought by a human, of a forgotten alien woman who carried a lost race's secrets, of a man who gave up his past to protect the future, and of a bond stronger than war, stronger than death. On a quiet moon, far from the chaos, Jace stood on a cliff, looking at the stars. Araka stepped beside him, her hand in his. Do you regret it? She asked softly. He shook his head. I finally know who I am. And who is that? She asked. He looked at her with a small smile. I am Jace of Visari, he said, last guardian of the memory, bonded to the blade, chosen by love. Araka leaned into him. Then, my people live again. Jace looked up at the stars, silver light glowing faintly in his eyes. And this time, he said, no one will erase them.